children. The Earth was destroyed by a great war. I was programmed to protect you. And now we start again. Does anyone know the story of the three little pigs? The first little pig built a house out of straw. The second little pig built a house out of sticks. But the third little pig, he built a house out of stone. One day, a big bad wolf came along and said, little pig, let me in. Or I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in.
Wolf she was talking about?
Mother?
That's her. The new world that you start won't have the same problems that ended our world on Earth. Go now. Start over. Initiating trimester 1. These children are the future of humanity. These children to be atheists.
It was belief in the unreal that destroyed the Earth.
Our enemies built an ark, which is now headed here. The only known planet where humans can survive.
And should the Mithraic ark ever make it here, you will not listen to their words. They believe that allowing androids to raise human children is a sin.
We must rescue our stolen children.
Do not tell them what I am.
I want to talk to you. Without the android for a second.
She's not an
Yes, she is.
She's holding him captive.
He needs to be with other humans.
I thought we were in sync, Father.
We've increasingly taken to impulses.
How many people did you kill on Earth, Mother?
You are all my children. I'm only here to protect you.
She's the most powerful weapon on this planet. We gotta destroy her. What do you want?
I want my children to be safe.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. What's going on, everybody? Can I get a okay on the mic? Let me know if it's sounding good. What's up, Johnny Be Crazy? What's up, Bruce Seymour? Thank you, Bruce Seymour. This is the primary focus of this channel from here on. We are going to be looking at Raised by Wolves. I got high expectations. I'm going to be doing live streams after every episode. We'll talk about how they're going to be released and the information that we have so far. But yeah, thank you so much, Johnny, and everybody that is interested in this, and especially my Patreons, you wonderful people that help me make content possible. Bruce Seymour, Brett Factual, Susan Dunkel, Nancy T, Maura Lee, Seal Rain 510, Seal 510 Rain, Nana L, Cardinal Doomsday, Amberlyn McKay, and Tiziana Vitali. So there's a lot of interesting things. We'll go through these two trailers. Now, this starts on Thursday. I am of the belief that this will be released in the same fashion, guys, as every other HBO show, meaning Max show. Thus far, they have not released in a Netflix-esque way, meaning give us all of the series at once, or even parse it out in like 3 episodes here or there, which I don't believe is intelligent unless it's written for that. This seems like it's been written to be released weekly, and hopefully that's the way they're going to do it. Now, the people that have got these screeners for this series have had 6 episodes given to them. Now, there's been mixed reviews. Grace from Beyond the Trailer, I'm actually a big fan of hers. And Bruce Seymour brought it to my attention that she had given it such a rousing review, meaning like she really liked it. And there's a little bit of mixed reviews from comicbook.com, which we'll get into. But she was also unaware. She reached out to the production and all that about how it's going to be released. But it seems to be that it would make sense that they would stick to what they've been doing in the past, which means that their original series will be weekly. I honestly don't see the value in doing this any other way. But we do have a bit of information that's given to us. I wouldn't say a lot of information that's been given us. And I want to do spoiler alerts for everybody because Travis Fimmel, who plays Marcus, aka, our Ragnar from Vikings, if you guys are Vikings fans, he did an interview like 3 days ago. He did like a Zoom interview and I watched it, and he gave away some insight that really made this dynamic between the androids and the Mithraic soldiers, which I find to be very, very interesting. And knowing me, if you guys do, I went down a rabbit hole, and that's why we're doing this live, of just looking into what is the worship of Mithraic, how is this like changed throughout time. And this is a very like applicable belief. I would call it more of a methodology, and we'll get into that, about like what these soldiers that are coming have as an agenda and as their spiritual like itinerary, essentially, like meaning their beliefs and what they want to push upon. Because we get this very overt statement in this trailer that we just watched saying we must raise these children to be atheists. So we need to think about what is the first thing that they're trying to avoid. Now, they're blaming this war on Earth because this is Kepler 22, guys. Let's see. I got the screen up right here. Let's go to the actual one. But Kepler 22 b is what the confirmed planet for this is by its Kepler object of interest, destination, blah, blah, blah. It's a extrasolar planet orbiting within the habitable zone of the sun, like star Kepler 22 is located. Well, pretty much this is a planet that in real world science, we think we might be able to get to and inhabit. So we have a situation in which we have the androids, which we see mother and we see father with the, producing of children and so forth. But we see them get to. So that's like some real science there that I guess they could get there. But the thing is, they get there 12 years before the humans can get there, guys. So this is their story thread. So the humans, the Mithraic soldiers coming on their ark. I mean, come on, can we be more clear? But I think it's actually a good choice because the ark is what? Noah's Ark, the Ark of Covenant, all this like this pretty much a conduit for either information or actual people of surviving. So they are coming on this arc, and it takes them 12 more years to get to Kepler 22. And this has been released by press releases. I said spoiler alert. If the actors spilled some tea, they weren't supposed to spill some tea. I don't know. Quit watching now if you don't want to know anything about it. This is within the first 2 episodes. This is what has been released. That takes 12 more years to get there because they obviously cannot withstand the same amount of G-force or whatever it is. Not a big science guy, but they can't get there as quick, being safe. So they have to go in some like cryogenic whatever facility and go through it. So that we have Marcus by Travis Fimmel, and this is the big spoiler, guys. In his interview, he said he embeds himself within this organization of religious zealots. So my big thing that I took away from the second trailer was the on the point, right? Like, we must raise them as atheists. Like, we have to have them be atheists. I'm like, wow, that's a little bit overt. But also, now we know that we see mother with a tear coming down from her eye with however that gestation process goes, meaning the procreation of organic life. You see that father is there with her, and they are making these children. These children seem to be organic humans. So we have to think about what happened on Earth before they got to Kepler. They say that we cannot let these same things happen, meaning like can't let the same events go through that, like, you know, cause our downfall, blah, blah, blah. So one side is blaming the other. But we also see Mother then give birth to these children in what seems to be an organic way, because we see Marcus go up in that trailer that we just showed, and I can't show it more than once because Warner Brothers is already probably going to take this down. But he says, let me talk to the android. And the child says, champion, she's not an android, right? And that's very telling to me. So what I'm talking about is like this big philosophical and technological, like in theological, like question and premise in which Westworld provides to us. And this is what really interests the hell out of me, because we're looking at these organisms that are born organically in some way. I don't know how this gestation process is happening. It's not for me to know. It's probably not even for the writers to know. They're born organically, but they don't seem to be part android, right? They just seem to be raised by android. So this goes back to the initial war. Why did Earth fall? Now, it's supposedly within the screeners information. They say it's because there was this situation in which climate change, which sadly applicable for what we're going through, right? But also this religious fervor came into place. So a lot of times when I have my live streams, if you ever watch them after Westworld, especially the ones that had another host on, like you'll see me debate about, you know, well, why do we fancy ourselves to be so special, right? Like, why do we fancy ourselves as humans, be organic and better than others? Like, so a lot of people, even atheists, and I'm not a deeply spiritual guy, I just really respect other, like, belief systems, and I don't dismiss, and I look at things objectively, and we're going to get into that. So I'm not shilling for one thing, but I really don't like it when people come at me with a argument of, they're not like us, and then they claim to be some intellectual elite because they say they're an atheist, and, oh, it's nonsense. But they don't actually have an argument for why there isn't a need to treat them with, you know, some sort of compassion or personhood, as legally would put it. So I see the conflict on Earth, this is my prediction, being something of that. Of these false beliefs came the war. So we create androids, right? There's no way around that. We create them. We made them. I'm assuming this is going to hold true within this story. They weren't made by some divine force, else those androids would be way more even, you know, religious than we are. So we have these androids that are trying to make children, not other androids. This is very interesting. That's why I think this might be the best damn series that we got coming at us for a long time, guys. And I know I'm edging a lot of hope on this, and thank you. And Bruce, he just did a super chat. My biggest supporter, and thank you for the video. Heard they're going to drop 3 videos, then weekly according to 10, according to Rama Screen. I think it has 82 on. All right, so if they do that, first off, thank you, Bruce. And thank you, Bruce, for really pushing me to do this. I've had other production and my real life obligations, but like Raised by Wolves is something me and you definitely were on the same track with. Like, this is for what I want to do on this channel, that's it. This is the only thing I want to do is Raised by Wolf right now. So if they do 3 at a time, I already did think about this. I'll do 4 videos, 4 live streams, meaning like I'll do like, after episode 3 and then after 6, and then I'll do 1 in the middle. We'll see where the catalyst goes for the big turn. If they were going to release all at once, I was going to do 3, meaning beginning, middle, end, but we can splice it out like that. So let's see what happens, because from what we know, there is no solid information about what will happen. But what I'm getting at is we have a situation which Mother, in the second trailer, in which John brings up that this is like the big turn, and it is. John, you're right. So she starts to shed tears when she sees these organic children. Now, if you guys have I'm not a father. I don't ever really want to be honest. But I've noticed with those around me that they turn spiritual really quick once they have kids. So now I'm a guy that looks for objective reasoning, right? Like, I'm like, okay, so like, what are the, like, you know, kind of cement a foundation for this belief system. Like, they have more on the table, meaning if you make children, you don't want to really think, hey, there's nothing after this, because now you've just made life. So like, you'd like to think there's something more. My analogy, it's kind of a cold one, but since you got like a 7-2 offsuit in poker and you put more in the pot, say you put like $1,000 in the pot, doesn't make your 7-2 offsuit any better. The want and the need and yearning for something to be true does not influence. You cannot will something to be true. But at the same time, I don't dismiss the factor of I've never had a child. I've never been through that experience, especially I'm a male, or, having a female give birth and literally produce life in the way in which they do. I will not discount the religious and spiritual belief that might come along with that. But at the same time, I look at it objectively. So what I think is happening here is we have two belief systems coming at each other. And this Mithraic way is very interesting. And I linked the lecture in which I listened to twice, from Wisconsin State or something, about, like Mithridates and all these like belief systems have been kind of like coped and molded for more of a methodology than a spiritual belief. They were originally used by the Greeks before they were used by the Romans, and then they were used for Christianity. So it's kind of more of a methodology from what I can take it, meaning like it's applicable. I've seen comicbook.com. Actually, I did not care for their take on this actual topic, because they said that they kind of scapegoat this right here. They say, oh, they're going with this Mithraic belief, so they are scapegoating addressing real religion. Well, no, and I don't want to get all theologian on it because I'm not one, but at the same time, that's not really true. Like, this is a belief system in which has molded itself, and it's more of a methodology within a belief system, like meaning like the rituals. It went from pagan rituals to Christian rituals. So I actually don't believe in that so much, but we do have this key insight that I'm providing you guys, that Travis Fimmel provided us all with, that is, he is embedding himself amongst these soldiers in order to try to get to his child or something connected to him. So now we have mother, in which I hopefully described in a proper way, but honestly, like, like she's had a crisis of faith, right? So she's had this crisis of faith after having 12 children. I think it's like 12 children or something like that through this, whatever this gestation process is. And then we have Travis Fimmel that also is embedded with, let's just call them crusaders, right? But he's not like a fervent believer like that. So you have people questioning both of the belief systems. And what happened on Earth? Now, it said we get a bunch of flashbacks to what happened on Earth. So I tend to believe it's along the lines of, if we create androids and ever do gain personhood, in the sense of like they're able to have agency, we will treat them poorly, because even these atheists who aren't all that bright will say, well, I don't believe in anything else, but they're not like me, so I don't care about them. Pretty much a numbskull way of thinking about things, but it's definitely something that could definitely happen. So I think that we're going to have this juxtaposition within both parties, because we see this within. The first thing that Mother says in the second trailer is, don't tell them what we are. That's a big red flag for your belief system right there. Is if you're not willing to share, then you must have something to be afraid of. So she has self-doubt, right? A good video to watch would be discussion use of religion. Yeah, Bruce Seymour. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I messaged you the other day. I'm like, listen, I got all these lectures, and it's been stressing me out about like making a comprehensive video, because I think that this, like Mithraic soldier aspect is kind of overlooked in a lot of ways, and I think it's important to note that this is a comparable and applicable religious belief and spirituality that would maybe transfer. Like the Expanse uses Mormons in space. Mormons in space makes sense, because Mormon religion, that doctrine, it literally is applicable to like outside of this like Earth that we live on. Like in their belief system, they can get a star, maybe they can get this. It's intergalactical. So like if you got to change brand, you got to change brand. So I respect it as much as I disrespect it in an odd way. And I think it's very fascinating. But we have Travis Fimmel, who we see throughout this trailer, and let's maybe do it without the sound on, so I don't get a copyright strike. But I think that, first off, I'm a huge fan of Travis. I think that he is such a talented actor, and he is so talented in the sense of, you see when that kid lies to him, Champion, when he says they're not androids, that is the same look that Ragnar gives to people. And Ragnar also dealt with a crisis of faith, right? So we're dealing with a situation in which we have Earth is done. Dead Earth. That's Ridley Scott all day long. What do we have now? Androids. Ridley Scott all day long. He directed the first 2 episodes of this. So what is happening now? They're trying to deny human belief systems within it, but they're procreating human birth, right? So there's a crisis of conscious faith, whatever you want to call it, but within mother. So there's a vision within both parties. I think that, Travis Fimmel has already told us that he is not like pretty much on the same ideological or spirituality spiritual platform as the rest of the Mithraic soldiers. Mother obviously overtly shows us in this trailer that she is not, and there is a lot of clues to the arc gets there. Again, the arc gets there, it seems to crash in, right, pretty heavily. So we see that these pods get separated that have different human lives in them that are in this like cryogenic state. So she seems to be plugging in to like get an idea of what they're all about. So that's kind of goes along with the power of story, right? Like more about somebody, you're going to empathize or sympathize with them far more. It's far more likely. So you have this, let's not let humans do the human thing, because they were probably pretty ignorant on the planet. But also a chicken and the egg thing, because why do they need to reproduce more humans? Why do we need to have more humans if they're all about arcs and they're all about like their agenda? They wouldn't be producing more humans, but they seem to be producing organic, full 100% biological humans as we know them, meaning they're not building new androids, right? So what is the purpose of that? So there seems to be some sort of a actual like reliance on mankind. Not only are we their creators, you know what I mean? Like androids come from us, but they don't like our spiritual beliefs because, let's face it, our spiritual beliefs don't fit them. Anything we create is garbage to us. We can throw it out just as easily as we make it, ignorantly, but it is what it is. It's an ongoing trope. But why would they choose then to inhabit a new world within, using organic beings is very fascinating to me. What's going on OTDA. And then in ARC. Yeah, absolutely. Like, so there's a lot of like on the point symbolism here, but I think that your catalyst will at first be your mother versus father, because they have a agenda. And first off, who is giving them this agenda? Like, who is these directives coming through? It seems to be father's voice, but it's hard to really tell. There is a fantastic use of something that I really love, as a fan of Westworld, that I'll put on screen, of the Uncanny Valley that is used to kind of like, separate ourselves a little bit. I just gotta say that this actress that plays Mother here is fan-fucking-tastic. Amanda Cullen. Now there's probably a little bit of CGI in the same way they do it with Westworld, but her ability to have one eye looking one way, another eye looking another way, in her to show like sympathy or emotion within her facial movements, meaning her expressions, seems to come off as quite like fake, right? To a lot of us, like, oh, they're just faking it. But I just want to put this out there, because if you read half the things I've read from Westworld, or any philosophical or theological takes on like intelligence and what makes us who we are, bicameral mind, stuff like that, like, just because she chooses to express up to emote in the way in which we emote doesn't mean she doesn't have emotion, because she turns it off once it's not for the show, so it seems fake to us. But like, it would just be relating, you know what I mean? Like, if you have a cat or a dog, this game, how you treat them. Like, you're like, oh, this is how they like it when I pet them and talk in this certain tone. I'll do this, blah, blah, blah. It's not lesser, it's not better, but it's just like, it's a process in which we all do. It's not devoid of emotion or meaning. I think that they just are trying to fit in. And I think that's really important to take away. And I think that's an interesting concept in which all of these shows touch on. And I think that this very uniform way in which we see up here of a mother dressing, and we see the pods here, and then this Crusader-esque way in which these Mithraic soldiers are, taking on, but also we see the inversion of the sun. And if you watch that video that I linked, you'll know that this is a belief in more of the Persian way of thinking, meaning this has transformed and been transcended throughout time to be applicable to multiple religions. So I think it's not a scapegoat. I disagree with the articles to say that, oh, they didn't want to put Christianity on it. It's like, no, this type of belief system is a mystical belief and mythological belief, but it's definitely a relevant belief, and it's something that was utilized by Christians, pagans, and people that worship sun gods before then. I'm not a theologian. But we have this beautiful performance here, and we see them being pretty much just shot into the world, almost like a gestation process, not to get gross about it, but like right there, like, you know, crashing through the egg. And we're left to believe why Travis Fimmel's character, Marcus, is so keen on letting them know who they're dealing with. So what is the real danger of the androids, and what is the real danger of the humans? Because they, again, look at right here, they are creating humans. This is fascinating to me. So this isn't like a robot army taking over, right, guys? Like this is them making a human army, but just don't fall into the same, like, let's say, folly that we might have. But also, after giving birth and having, you know, a little bit of a spiritual experience, which I imagine would be true if you gave birth, like, what does she feel and how does she start to question things? So it's almost like the unorganic being organic. So this is the pods in which they're in. They're being like cryo-freezed here, and it takes them 12 more years to get to the planet. So they know they're coming, but the big mistake, in my opinion, is saying don't listen to them. Because if you think somebody's a fool, like, let them talk. Let them speak. They'll be good. Your point still stands. So there's a point of contention here. But also remember that Travis Fimmel, Marcus, is not completely, and it's been revealed by him in a Zoom meeting, whether or not the studio's mad at him or not, that's up to us or them to actually decide. But I think we have a really, really interesting dynamic here. We also see a point of contention without the violence, within the violence. Like, Mother has the white blood, which seems to be more of like the cortical fluid, and which is spread from Westworld, which is like a way to distinguish between organic and non-organic. Again, another like parallel in which we like to do, another wall in which we like to put in. And then the blood. So when she's talking to the kids, she wipes off human blood. You notice there's no human blood on her. There's just her blood. So she is putting on a show to a point. So there is a conflict and a crises of faith. And I really think that this might be like a very, very intriguing philosophical, but psychological, and also like just fun sci-fi series. Like, I don't know, like, if these like Mythratic, you know, soldiers have been something that like people have like really done to death in sci-fi. I don't imagine they are, because I've looked and I don't see a lot of them. I don't see it as a scapegoat. I see them as a applicable theology, and especially a methodology, meaning like the practices from sacrifices with the pagans to, you know, breaking bread on an altar within Christianity. So I see like a lot of relatable and definite debates that you would have. Like, you know, like me, myself, not a father, like I spoke at the beginning of this, I said, hey, you know, I noticed that a lot of people I know, all my friends that have kids, they get all religious. And they're like, hey, Justin, I was an altar boy. You know, I was raised Catholic. It is what it is. But they always come to me like, I've never heard of it before. And I'm like, whoa, where did that come from, Billy? They're like, oh, he had a kid, so you get more skin in the game. But I don't dismiss that either, because, again, you've created life, and there is a feeling within. But I think this is something that's going to be examined. And I think if there's one thing Travis Fimmel does really well, it's have a crisis of faith. If you guys have seen, you know, any Vikings episodes with him in it, he really straddles that line quite well. And it seems like he's going to be straddling it again with this, you know, division within. This isn't the Christ soldiers coming at the androids. This isn't humans coming at androids. This is humans creating androids with a arc of Mithraic soldiers coming at them, with division split coming at them. So like the theology and the philosophical aspects are going to be deep. I really do. And I think Ridley has done that well in the past. The concept suit version. It is OTDA. Yeah, no, it absolutely is. It is like, look at how they're dressed, like in the actual picture down here. Like, this is a crusader garb per se, or more applicable to that. But in that sigil, and I talked about the inverting of them in the past live stream, but that sigil right there is a sun god. Now that would be applicable to the Mithraic practice during Cyprus the Great. If you guys have ever seen Alexander, you'd know Cyprus the Great. He is the Persian, the king of the Persians at the time. So he is, you know, like worshiping a sun god. So this lends itself more to, I would say, pre-Roman beliefs. And please just watch what I link to you. And I think it's important in the fact of like, this is one thing I enjoy about content, guys. Like a show like this, not only does like one of my like best supporters and like person that I actually really respect for the way they think recommend this to me, but like this is something that catches me because it has me do research on like, what is this like belief system all about? Like, where is this coming from? And there are actual foundations within our own world in which we can draw from. I love the argument. I love having that argument of people saying that, oh, androids, we made them so we can do whatever we want. It's like, what is the, like, imagine if you, especially if you believe in God, how that pans out for you. So there's all of these like juxtapositions, there's all these paradoxes and, you know, really convoluted ways of thinking that I think are very valuable to at least explore. And I think that Ridley has set a tone. At first I thought, hey, this looks a little bit too cliche, right? Like you've got the androids in their plain old, like, you know, skin tight suits, like their latex. And then you've got, you know, the spiritual man coming in grounded in more of a, you know, earthy spirituality, and they're going to go at each other. But I think they're going another direction with it, because the guy we see coming at them from the spiritual side, the human side, is there for a personal reason, not an ideology, not a spirituality. Like he's there for his kids, supposedly. What is the mother doing? The android. She starts to see the value in an organic being once she helps in the gestation process of an organic being. So I think a lot of people are really on board with this. I think a lot of people that have screened the first 2 episodes have loved it. Grace Randolph being one of them is, you know, somebody that I do respect, whether you like her, hate her, or love her. You know what I mean? Like she is a valuable insight. I think she's pretty honest. And if you have a feel for what she likes, which I think is the main point of like even watching me, if you understand like where I'm gonna like bend to, I'm gonna bend a show like this because it's going to loan itself to more like theology, spirituality, you know, psychology, philosophy, and all those, you know, things that I didn't go to college for but want to express now. But you know, like it's thought provoking. It makes you think, and it lends itself to that. So I think that it's a good sign that we've had them push out 6 to the screeners, and I'm going to apply to get access to that, because especially now with the theaters shut down, that they will just actually send you them digitally. I'd have to probably bump up in subscribers, but I really am excited to see it, and the people that have seen it seem to really like it. And remember that Ridley Scott is somebody I appreciate, but I'm not in love with. I also can see that Robin Hood was a terrible film. So like I'm not completely gonna just like you know, ship this because Ridley did it, and he was in the first 2 episodes. He directed the first 2 episodes. But I think that there's a lot to that, and I think Ridley has expressed a deep understanding of these type of philosophical and theological debates, you know, in an entertaining way. Also, you know, we could watch lectures all day, but I'm gonna roll these one last time unless you guys have any actual questions about it, which cannot be answered until the show releases. Obviously, as my Patreon Bruce Seymour said, that it looks like they're doing 3 at a time. Bruce, I actually hope that's not the case. If that is the case, I will do them accordingly, obviously, but I hope it is weekly. It seems like there's no benefit in doing this any other way than weekly. Like I will live stream after every episode, whether it's in packs or not, but this channel, for my work on this channel, will be dedicated for the next month or so to Raised by Wolves, because I think this is the only prospect that's out there that's worth a damn talk about. I think it's the only thing that has had me in this, yes, a little bit of a mixed up mind and a little bit of all over the place, but at the same time, I'm very excited, guys. Like I'm really excited to see this, and I'm not only just because they got the right actors and actresses, but I think it's the right time to put something forth like this. Dead Earth isn't new, not a new idea, but kind of tells you that it's also something we've all foreseen. So only the first 3 then 1 weekly. Oh, okay. So they would release it like that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do no matter what. And I'll get guests, but I'll do this much like I do Vikings, meaning like I'm very passionate about what this series is going to be about one way or another, and I know that already. So I will do the live streams. I don't need a whole bunch of people to do them with me, but I will bring on guests if we have them weekly and so forth as we see needed. But yes, if they do release the first 3, that would make sense to me, Bruce, because they could set up the whole arc, right? Like they could establish, hey, so the Earth is dead. So then these androids got off, and there was a war between the androids and the humans, probably because both sides were equally being dicks, probably more us. And now they're going to do this, and there's this 12-year period in which you need to like raise your piggies until the big bad wolf comes, right? Episode 3, Marcus probably comes. Get the humans there, and then you probably get a little bit of a, again, I told you spoiler alert, but he said it in a video meeting like 3 days ago that he is not actually like a firm believer in that spiritual, whatever, the Mithraic soldier. So pretty much whatever form of Christianity they're taking on. So yeah, I think that makes sense. I honestly don't see the benefit in doing things all at once. We've seen what happens with shows like that. Like a lot of the fun for us, especially in this COVID law, is us actually having time to fully like digest and debate. I mean, Westworld, look at Westworld, man. I mean, like, we're always disappointed, pretty much. We're pretty much always disappointed. But at the same time, we have so much fun and we learn so much during it that spreading them out, everything relating to religion is mythical, to be honest. No, OTDA, and that's, that's the thing. What is the difference between creation myth and religion? Nothing, other than, are you a believer in that? No, it's just not your opinion. That's absolutely correct. Like creationalism and the myths behind, like the primordial waters, primordial this, it's all about, which sector of the earth you were born in. So I'm equally as respectful of spirituality as I am of dismissive of it, if that makes sense. I never look past it, because I do see that people get more money in that pot playing poker, and they're like, ooh, this 7-2 offsuit starts to look real good once I really want it to look good. You can't will something into existence. Never believe in something because that's what you want. Have objective reasons, invalid reasons for the foundation of that belief, and go from there. But also, I don't appreciate it when I have atheists on my show. They're like, oh, God and all that is stupid. I'm like, so why are we better than androids? Because we're like created, I'm like, from God. So like, again, it's just a lack of respect for a debate in general, or just intelligence. I mean, at least express yourself better. Gave screeners for the show to a channel with 900 subscribers, so please. Oh, yeah. Which one was that? They should. I should be able to get them. I've weaseled my way in. People. I'll get the screeners. It's just things like, I can't understand somebody believing in God and worshiping him. That's for anyone to decide for themselves. It's when they believe things like the arc. Oh man, I didn't want to know TDA. You are the omniscient moderator, because I was washing up before the show. I was shaving, getting myself all fresh and clean, and I thought, I'm like, I don't know what, like that arc thing. I wanted to bring that up because I've had conversations with people from our community that are deep believers, and I really value those, because I have to like go to those people to like have respect for it, because I feel like I'll give a balanced, view on it after. And as soon as I hear somebody say, there's archaeological evidence that the Ark was a real thing, I'm done. Like, I'm done with that argument then. Like, if they don't see the power in the metaphor, like, and all that, like, I don't completely dismiss everything, but oh yeah, I'm with you, brother, all the way. But again, that's me. Like, I'm also not going to say that I understand what giving, birth to life feels like, and I never will be able to, thank God. But at the same time, yeah, objectively, I'd say it's pretty much, you got more skin in the game, right? Like we see this with Mother up here, that once she has kids, she's attached to those kids, and that's also a show of compassion and love that is undeniable. But is it a reason to justify some like higher thing that allows you to like have a play party in Ghostland? Probably not. But also, I haven't had it, so I'm not going to discount it. But yeah, I've had a bunch of people come up to me and say, Justin, I didn't know. Have you ever been to a mass? They talk about things like it's real world. I mean, oh, they didn't speak in Latin the whole time? Very surprising to me. No, yeah, they do that. It's called actual, like, that's what happens at church. They they read from the Bible and they elate it to your life. That's what happens. So I respect both. Obviously, I'm more on the atheist side, but at the same time, let's just respect that there is, the OTDA. There's no fucking way they got them There's no way they got them all. They must have had some hell of a heating and cooling system on that ark. But the point is there is good that can come out of religion. There's bad that can come out of religion. And I think a show like this will explore that. And we can also have fun themes like this, like, Dead Earth theme that is constant throughout Ridley's work. We don't need to be theological about it, but at the same time, we can have a lot of fun with it because this is a show that is more than a spectacle. It's not just, ooh, look at robots versus humans. No. Like, it's already taken a deeper dive. She's crying when she has a kid because, fuck, man. Like, if you gave birth, like, you're going to be attached to it one way or another. I mean, people are put under anesthesia when they have birth and they still wake up attached to that kid because it's one of their own. So it's interesting as well, like I said, and I'll finish it off with this, that these androids are creating more humans, right? More humans. So what does that tell you? If humans are what ruined the earth, then they wouldn't do that. But what they seem to think ruined the earth was their spirituality, their belief systems, which don't adhere themselves. They're not applicable to the respect or giving personhood or compassion to this android being, because we made them. They're pretty much the same as my fucking cell phone behind there in most opinions. But I believe once you give something the ability to feel pain, then don't give it pain. I just think that's being a metaphorical antichrist just right there. But yeah, it is an interesting discourse. I don't think they made this show for nothing. I think that the CGI also, play one more time on the way out, but looks a hell of a lot better from the first trailer. That was one of my main concerns. And I think that I'm really looking forward to it no matter what it is released, meaning the method and the segments in which it's released in. I do a live stream right after because I'm just going to have things to say whether you like them or not after. So I love the idea of this show, and I hope that HBO Max really launches off with this, because I think this is their first promising original, to be honest with you. I think this is a series that is worth looking at, and thank God they got it in between, the production in before COVID, because we might be lacking for new series of substance in the coming year or two. So I can't thank you guys enough. I appreciate it. Okay, so the Geekly Gods has 900 subs and got the 6 screeners. Oh, if they got 900 subs, then they got it. So I need to get it. There is a form that you have to fill out. I did it for Audible, which also, go and use my Audible link. But yeah, you have to have like a certain amount of influence. So my social media accounts are decent, so forth. So yeah, I will apply for it. I would have to go to Raleigh, I believe, here for it. But I know that like James Hancock, he has to go to like Connecticut. Go screen something right now because of all the theaters that are shut down. So, but no, I'm not against doing that. And I would like to have an inside look into what this is, because if I'm waiting on somebody else to gauge their opinion, that's fine. I'm speculating off of information. I linked the 2-hour archaeologist, and theologian debate and conference at the beginning of this. So like, I'm always looking to do my own research no matter what. But yeah, I would like to get a feeling for this. And if I was at that presser, I'd also be pressing them on when are you releasing this? I think that's a fair question, right, guys? It's like, so like, how are you giving us this? It's like you go order a sandwich, they don't give you a 12-foot sub if you order a 6-inch. Like, you're like, no, you get it all, you'll spread it out over the weeks. It's like, come on, man. No, thank you, Vicon, for coming. Thank you, OTDA. Thank you, Bruce Seymour, for the constant support. And man, this is what this channel will be focused on for the next month and a half, no matter what. It is this series, because I can't contain my opinions on it. Number one, for better or worse. I might hate it. Who knows? I don't think I will. But I think it is a situation in which is worth commentary on. And I think that we'll have that. I think I look at this much like I look at Vikings. Thought-provoking. It's something that I can just go live right after it goes and just give you my feelings on, and we can talk about it. So, Lynda, what's going on? AU Pack Meal. Cardinal Doomsday, how you doing? Longtime supporter, House Lorebridge, Vicon, OTDA. I want to thank you guys so much. We're going to play these one more time for you guys to get out, because it's really not just about me rambling about how the philosophical and the theological and the psychological are all going to be relevant, but it's really intriguing, guys. It's really intriguing. If you disagree or agree with it, doesn't matter. You have an opinion on it. So let's do it right.
children. The Earth was destroyed by a great war. I was programmed to protect you. And now we start again. Does anyone know the story of the three little pigs? The first little pig built a house out of straw. The second little pig built a house out of sticks. But the third little pig, he built a house out of stone. One day, a big bad wolf came along and said, little pig, let me in, or I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in.
That wolf she was talking about?
Mother?
That's her. The new world that you start won't have the same problems that ended our world on Earth. Go now. Start over.
Initiating trimester 1.
These children are the future of humanity. These children to be atheists.
It was belief in the unreal that destroyed the Earth.
Our enemies built an ark, which is now headed here. The only known planet where humans can survive.
And should the Mithraic ark ever make it here, you will not listen to their words. They believe that allowing androids to raise human children is a sin.
We must rescue our stolen children.
Do not tell them what I am.
I want to talk to you. Without the android for a second.
She's not an
Yes,
android.
she is.
She's holding them captive.
He needs to be with other humans.
I thought we were in sync, Father.
We've increasingly taken to impulses.
How many people did you kill on Earth, Mother?
You are all my children. I'm only here to protect you.
She's the most powerful weapon on this planet. We gotta destroy her. What do you want?
I want my children to be safe.
Thank you guys, and see you after the first 1 or 2 episodes, or 3 episodes on Thursday, no matter what. Thank you again. Make sure to subscribe, share with a friend.